collective energy reading. Please only take what resonates. Always leave the rest for the best. No matter stress or not spliff. I leave the shit to the rest. You just have to meditate. Don't hate. Because when you're taking actions and you get that realization and you get higher wisdom, higher clarity, when you was being a fool and you was in that childlike spirit, and you have to gain wisdom, and it gives you that spiritual box, and it's that higher awareness, and it's about yourself, the people, the places, the community, who you serving. Are you serving yourself with that positive knowledge and wisdom, like understanding to overstand challenges, changes, when people are blocking you, stopping you, not enabling you to grow, and you're slowing? Take this all as it resonates. Always leave the rest for the best. Don't stress. It says not married anymore. Someone could be feeling that 5 of Cups, stress, upset, having this grief, and they can see your purity, your balance, caring, nurturing, you growing, got higher wisdom, higher clarity, you know right from wrong. They can see you as that abundance and that purity within inside of you, because the clarity of that mind, they're calling, that's that message of love. 1 1, boom boom, left and right, sun, moon, illusions, confusions. That's when you start using your intuition. Look about the actions that you talk and what you was valuing, when you, your energy, how you was holding. Was you aggressive? Was you caring? Was you nurturing? Was it built on trust, or was it lies? Was it deception? Was it deceit? Was it adultery? Spirit. Because then you have to identify, because there's consequences to those actions, and every action has a reaction. And then some people wonder why, where, what and when, because they've got a social awareness of you, but when you're detached from those thoughts and those feelings, and then you get that ricochet, and it's that high awakening, it hurts, because you see that genetic deception. So they could be seeing genetic deception. That's when you've grown up, and it could have been through childhood, and then you realise at that awakening that somebody lied, tried to trap you with a child, and then you could hear even the transformations in this partner, the relationship. They could have took that energy, thought they had some hidden powers because they had this higher clarity, speaking, lying. They could have acted like they was like nurturing, caring, but didn't lack confidence, lack self-esteem, didn't have that discernment when they was picking up these partners, didn't know about the boundaries, and when you're crossing bridges and when you're breaking these bridges with these relationships, take this all as it resonates. You have to get high awareness. It's that depth, because you have to look at yourself and gain that introspection. It's that purity, it's that clarity about the deception. Baby didn't fit in the picture. So a baby didn't fit in the picture. 8. So they could have been holding on secrets in regards to a child. They could have took aggressive energy in that childlike spirit, sexual energies, socializing, partying. Now they're stressed in that 5 of Cups, looking at their emotions because of these illusions, to the confusions when they was ride with me, relax your mind and take your time with me. Come and grind for me. It's right with me. They thought that was pretty Ricky. I'm looking forward to it. So they could be saying the baby didn't come in the picture, but they're looking forward to it. So they could be saying now they're having a baby. They could have been looking forward to a baby. They could be identifying in regards to this child now. Take this all as it resonates. I didn't need a father. I needed a friend. So they could act like a father figure. They could act aggressive with an ego energy, trying to rule dominance, like you're wise and you've got this wisdom, and that's, you've got that higher clarity and that purpose, like they're growing and they're moving forward. Take this all as it resonates, because that was dominance over resources, over things. That's left them out in the cold, because that's stress, that's high character. They could have tried to dominate over you, like they was more than you, like you didn't know nothing. And you wasn't able to talk, you weren't able to do. You know, when you get them dominant fathers and they're just aggressive and they're angry and they're, you can't even tell, you can't even speak to your dad, because when you're trying to gain that clarity and give that discernment, you were discerning to when even the way how you act and the way how you even go to have to approach somebody. Take this all as it resonates, guys. Numbers, numerology, because that's when people are trying to seek knowledge, and certain people could be seeking knowledge and getting aggressive now because they've seeked knowledge and they're arrogant. They've got this aggressive energy because of the lies and the deceits, and they're looking at this 8 of Wands. That certain people have this great willpower. They could have had great willpower in this deception, and that was looking now, because that's the movement, and it was quick decisions and it was sudden progress to be able to block people because they thought they was going to be able to get this 10 of Cups. That's when you're on that karmic cycle. Whoa. Karmic cycle, so they're identifying, it's that zoom vision, zooming in now, that's that higher clarity, actions, attitude, approach, because I am, and the way I acted. And now I'm thinking, because I'm growing and I see that I'm evolving, and they can see that you're evolving because you're achieving. And they thought they was achieving when they was moving towards this Three of Pentacles. They could have been working with other people, having deception. Now they can see the way you're working. You're fast moving, quick, sharp mind, quick speaking, communicating. They can see you identify about these secrets, the illusions to these family members and these friends, these divine feminines, masculines. They could be around certain people in the community, speaking, lying, they've got quick talking, quick thinking. They didn't have that quick clarity of mind because that didn't fit in the picture of a baby. But they was growing and they was collaborating with other people because that was their goal, to have great efforts to entrap within the lights, because you're not discerning. People thought they was being wise, and that didn't want to be that father. They wanted to be a friend. So now in that Five of Swords, because it's aggression, they're stressed. I didn't want to be a father. I didn't want you to I just wanted to be a friend. So when you have to gain this clarity in regards to people who was holding you down, holding you back, and you start looking now, because that's that higher awareness. And then they're having a tower moment because that's stress and that's conflict, because now that's 15. They're looking at their self 6, looking at balance and harmony, where they are, the people that they're around. That's high awareness. That's that clearness in your mind because of those illusions. So they can see they were stuck because of these habits. Now they're having that sudden change and it's awakening. They could be looking back towards you now and saying, oh my gosh, when I was moving and I was aggressive and I had this bad energy, tried to take control and authority, thought I was wiser, didn't have that discernment, didn't have that clarity in the judgment what you put out, because you wasn't pure of mind, or because you had this deception, adultery, lies, confusions, illusions. That's when they're sinning, and they thought they was outside grinning. At home, our way. When out in public, another way. So when they're at home, the wrong way. When they're out in public, it's another way. So at home, they're all stuck in their emotions, in the thoughts, in the feelings. It's like you're clinging on, you're trying to gain strength, weak. And then when you're out in public, you're going on like, oh yeah, you got mighty chat. If you want me to tell you, not your fault, I can't, sorry. So they couldn't be saying it wasn't your fault. If they wanted you to tell them it was their fault, while they was lying, they was cheating, they had this aggressive energy, quick, fast, moving, because they was vindictive, dominant over resources, over mindsets, over people, over choices, over actions, even over the way how you react. Even when you're moving and you've let go of karmic cycles, because you have to start looking at yourself, nurturing yourself, caring for yourself, having compassion for yourself. You let them go when that childlike spirit, to adventure, to be that true, unique, authentic self that you wanted to be. You be your true, unique self. You grew. You didn't procrastinate. You didn't hate. Meditated. Kept on moving forward. Analyze, recognize, because you're right when I wanted you to be wrong. So now they're looking at you and saying back you was practical, you was nurturing, you was balanced, you had clarity of thought, you was that awareness, and you was empowering. And when you certain deveiled those divine feminines and masculines, you was right. You seen that inner side of them. So even to look them in the face and speak and say certain things, they would lie, embody a different energy, act like they was wise, and they didn't realise, because the way how you communicated, you was just quick thinking, quick and fast. Now they're in that Mercury, in their mind, so they thought that they was wise. They now seeing you're that high priestess. I need complete oneness. So they need that complete oneness. They don't give you that complete oneness. You had to have that confidence, your self-care. You had to look, because when certain people was creating, and who they was creating with and talking and writing, and that's like when you're in that neighbourhood, because you had to get clarity of thought, clarity of mind. You had to continue to keep growing, because how can you forget? It's hot, it's not, it's fire. So there was fire, energy, fast, quick, aggressive, energy, like that, passionate, think that you're smart. When you're doing certain things, you wasn't even thinking. When you didn't have that clarity of mind, you didn't have that discernment, because the way you thought it was brave, and now controlling over resources, people, places and things, you didn't have that temperament, balance, compassion within the heart. Was it separate? Compassion in the heart didn't have balance, it was separate. They didn't enable to be able to balance them out. They was too aggressive, because they was like bullying, and then it's causing stress and conflict. Let's take these, because that's appreciate answers. Didn't understand, but thinking now. So they didn't appreciate the answers, they didn't understand, but thanks. Right, so they didn't appreciate that I am aggressive and I was acting in that bad way, and because the way I was thinking, I was like stress and conflict, and I was unbalanced, 15-15, fearing, because of devil energy, addictions, confusions, illusions, stuck in low dense energies, stuck in that mindset, not able to grow forward because it was all about how I want and what I need and what I really, not looking about the outer shell and other people's mindsets, how other people feel, and caring, nurturing, practical, analysing, being discerning. When you're around certain people, are you enabling who you're working with, who you're serving? A better way, leave, then start a new life. If you don't, consent got to take court and speak. So now they could be wanting to be able to take this feminine energy to court. They want to be able to leave now a better life because they could be speaking quick, and it's quick and fast because they're communicating. Certain people's driven through jealousy, idealistic, holding on. Or now they're realising about people who's dominant over resources. That could have been about inheritances, taxes. Certain people are psychological now, having that stress in the mind because people who's doing spell work. Spells are speaking, spells are holding on, cells, sexual cells, lock cells. Cells, so it's doing something with cells, sell your phones, sell your body, sell your site, sell something. Do people ever lie without a reason? So now they could be saying they was lying. 3, these karmics, family, friends, the masculine, because of the choices that they made, they wouldn't have that high clarity of mind. They were just taking action, socialising, partying, actual energies, moving up those low energies, not trusting their gut feelings, not having compassion. They could have not had compassion towards you. Conflict, stress made you have to have that clarity, thinking, take that action, move, gain balance, continue to keep working on yourself, building up your confidence, building up your self-esteem. People's trying to cause you stress and conflict. You enabled yourself to grow, gain wisdom, high clarity as to why, what, where, when. Why did people have aggression? Why was they holding up that aggression? What was inside of them? Why was it? Because of their mindset, because of the way they grew up. What was they holding on to? Why was in that childlike spirit? Because they was gambling. They could have been gambling you, gambling the choices, gambling because they wasn't connected to their emotions, gambling because when they were speaking and lying and telling lies in regards towards you, saying that you was ruling dominance, you was trying to be able to stop, you was doing spell work, you was doing these things, but that was caused confusion because people was jealous in regards towards you because you had that high awareness. You wasn't able to go into that high front. You wasn't able to gain that wisdom. You wasn't able to be able to speak and communicate. Just even people having a social awareness of you when you're posting, when you're not posting, when you're out, you're socialising. I wasn't distracted. I didn't screw up. So they don't even want to say they wasn't distracted, they didn't screw up. You wasn't distracted, you didn't screw up, you grew up. And they grew love because they used to see your priority, and now they're looking back towards you because of this 8 of Wands. That's that confusion. They maybe want to come and speak something towards you. People could be speaking because that's that patience. They're about your growth. So they're now speaking about your growth, you're pure, you're steadfast, you're communicating, you've got that high clarity. You're knowing about certain people's actions when they put up some things and they was coming with fungi towards you because you had that balance. You listen to the spiritual guys. 4. You've seen the illusions, the confusions, and now they're in their mind because of how they feel. They may want to come quick and speak. They may be quick and speaking to that feminine energy, family members and friends that they're around. You may be having to speak to be able to express yourself, to be able to let things go about when people have this aggressive energy and there was deception and looking because of these illusions. And now that's sudden progress because you had to grow and gain the wisdom and gain that strength. Connect to your spiritual guides, your ancestors. Have compassion for yourself because that was you securing your knowledge, your wisdom to be able to grow. Now they're looking at their habits. They're connecting to their emotions. They're using their intuition so they can see that you're steadfast, organised. This divine masculine could now be seen growing and taking that leadership to have that understanding and knowing about when people was being selfish, cancer, clinging on, holding on, jealousy. 8, 8, Scorpios because it was idealistic. And that was just looking because it was doing spell work on you. 16, that's a tower moment because that's when you have a realization. Blocking, stopping, that's when you pick and pick till you pick shit. And then you realize the shit that you picked that was blocking you doing spell work. Extra magic. And then you get that clarity because certain people thought they was wise. And that's when you got good, bad, evil. So now they're realizing the people they was around, that karmic energy was holding on. Scorpio, Cancer, holding on. Aries, aggressive energy, having these skills, thinking they was wise. They're looking back towards you, getting that introspection about that strength. That's when you're in Hermit. And you gain that higher clarity about people, taking actions. Baby, now they need that complete oneness because that's that clarity. It's stress in your mind, it's force. 1, the mindset towards money, what they was valuing, and their attitude, how they seen people and people seeing them in public in that community. They can see you could balance within your mind. You're nurturing, caring, providing. You look at yourself and gain that introspection. You was able to nurture, have compassion, listen, trust thy gut feelings, listen to your heart, connect with the spiritual guides, take that leap of faith, continues to keep on moving. And now they wanted to do that because that was a part of the magic. And that's 2 and 5. Now they wanted to be able to connect to their heart, their emotions. They're gaining that high clarity, a part of the life force. They may be seeing you now and saying, oh my gosh, I'm using my intuitions. I can see you're a high priestess. Now I'm connecting. I was so dependable on money. They can see your powerful skills. You've grown. You had to protect yourself. You was brave. You continue to move forward. They was in their ego or because of their pride. Like, you know, when you're narcissist and you're not really having that clarity of mind because you think you're wiser, but you're institutionalized. Like, you could have gone prison, military, that kind of individual mindset. Strong, passionate, you know, you got them father figures. You do something wrong, you don't want to, like, oh, basically I can't even come and talk to you because you know they're unbalanced and you don't know which direction they're going to take, because they could be switching like a bitch or they could be cool, calm and collective. Sorry, they was too quick and fast. Take it all as it resonates, guys, because you have to gain that clarity, and that's a part of your growth. Now they're looking back at the actions that they took when they was quick and fast and they was moving, who they was growing with. They didn't have that patience. They weren't protecting themselves, listening to their gut feelings, because they was just too in their emotions. They didn't know how to have boundaries, speak the truth, lie. When they was trying to go through these passages, you get that clarity. Now they're looking back towards you and seeing you're part of that magic. There's around people blocking you. Why did you lie? What did you gain? So now they could be looking and speaking to this karmic. Why did you lie? What did you gain? When they was trying to grow and put a baby in the picture, and the baby might not be theirs. We need to figure out what we missed. So now they're figuring out what they missed because they wasn't listening, they weren't connected to the heart, they weren't using their intuitions, they wasn't being compassionate, they wasn't trying to secure certain things. What did you miss when you were trying to secure? Was you being creative? Was you using your intuitions? What habits did you have? When it causes stress, I was being nice, human decency. So you was always just being nice, you was always caring, you was always supporting, you was always enabling, you was always taking that action to be able to grow, because you was able to be able to see these illusions. You weren't obsessed, you wasn't stressed, you wasn't depressed, you just kept on moving and running, rising and lowering and identifying. You was the one who was stressed, the stress, and wouldn't let stress stress you. He's younger than me. So that person could have been younger than you in mind, in thoughts, in actions, the way how you acted, the way how you reacted. No law inmate became done. No law inmate became done. So no law inmate, they became done. So no laws, they didn't have that higher clarity of mind, thoughts, feelings, they wasn't connected. But one more, it says, you come to me because you trust me. So they maybe want to be able to find that passage towards you because they trust you. You remembered. So you remembered. You remember that knowledge, you went to the Most High, you remember the knowledge, you went to that balance, you went to that structure, you got that clarity, because you was you had the application to apply the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding to bridge those feelings, those thoughts, compassion, caring, kind, intuitions, connecting to the emotions as to what clarity. You listen to the gut feelings, because that was that advice. You listen to the spiritual guides, that was 111, divinely guided, balance to be able to evolve. Now they're listening because the way how they're feeling and they're thinking now, because they're evolving and they can see you're evolving, they maybe want to transform. You have to transform. Now they're listening because that's that 3 and 6, stress, clarity, gratitude, indulgence, that's patience. When you're growing, you're looking back, you're at Mercury, transforming the mind because you're evolving in those thoughts. It's people who've got social awareness of you. When you're speaking, social media, such as now, helping the collective gain clarity. 3, get out that mindset. 2, stay balanced in your heart, love, because now they're connecting now using the intuitions. 2 and 6, they're in Venus. They was holding on because of fear, because that was money, and that was advice, what they was giving when they were speaking, the way they communicate, the way how you learn, the way how you grow, and that was from when you was childhood. That's now looking, and they can see your devices there around people within their neighbourhood, and they could be speaking now and gaining high awareness of you, social awareness of you, that you're balanced, because you're protected. And protection was prevention, prevention was protection from those karmic energies, the masculines, the feminines, because they was in that illusion. They didn't look at grow, psychological aspects of life and that transformation, just like in the Bible, in the book, and it's a passage to give you that clarity of consciousness, awake, to know that left and right, you're doing right, know when you've done wrong, admit that you've done wrong. I was sorry for the way that I treated you when I did what I did. I'm sorry for that when I did that and that I maybe wasn't thinking at that specific moment. You're never too big to say that you're wrong. You're never too big to cry. And when you get that stress, it gives you a higher clarity as to why, because you're in hermit. You get introspection. It's inner thoughts, inner feelings. You listen to your gut feelings. Have compassion for yourself. Higher clarity, discernment. Third eye activated. Connect to the divine. Give it to the Most High God, because you know when you're doing right, you're doing wrong. Forgiveness. So they're looking back towards you now. Forgiveness, because illusions. They may not have wanted to say sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's so wrong to say sorry. But sorry never saved no soul, just Laura. But when you say that sorry, at least you're aware. Because that's when you get through that passage, and it's love. Because that's higher clarity. You get that higher awareness about yourself, how I feel, and that's my inner skills, your magician skills, inner, your inner thoughts. No, I don't know what you're feeling. No, I don't know if you're holding on and you're clinging on and what you're clinging on to. Then when you're doing hidden skills and trying to block people because you're being vindictive and clinging on, why? Why? Why are you jealous? Why are you bad mind? Why don't you go? Why don't you grow? Why don't you transform? Your attitude, your mindset. So you have that inner standing, because that's when you ain't got love and you ain't got compassion for yourself, and you only don't love yourself when you want to transform and change and look like somebody else. So somebody else could have, did you say yesterday they're doing flipping beauty magic, so somebody could have wanted to look like you and try to think that they was balanced like you, but they didn't have that understanding. They thought that you didn't have your own leaderships, like you're holding on, like you've got some bad habits. You have to look at yourself, and this is why we're going to come to tarot, because we're all changing, we're growing, we're evolving, and that's when you have that self-doubt and have hope. We're growing, we're changing, we're evolving. Because of that self-doubt, that gives us lack of hope. So you have to have that compassion. It's a caring nature to yourself. If you don't care for yourself, who's going to care for you? If you don't love yourself, who's going to love you? If somebody's not loving you correctly the way how you need to, let it go, let it pass, and let it be. Because begging, bargaining with my own mental, you can only beg and bargain with your own mental. And when you're sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, that person's making me feel like that, and I knew I was feeling that way there, and I wonder if that person's making me feel like that because where are they moving fast, and the decisions, am I going to make this rightful decision, or is it sudden because I'm angry? You have to connect to your heart, listen to your intuitions, connect. Are you comfortable, or do they make you feel in a specific way? Are you unable to be able to communicate? Are your intuitions blocked, or are you feeling like you're confused? Because of the confusion is not of the Most High. It's confusions, are illusions due to temptations, and that can bring that deception of you not making that right decision. Stress, respect the downfall. So you respect people's downfall, because when you go, we fall down, but we get up. We fall down, but we get up. We have to know, we have to have that spiritual discernment, because when we all go down, we need that Most High. So you go to that spiritual wisdom, that's that gospel. You get that higher clarity to be able to transform and change the mind, because that's a part of that growth. And that's when you have to listen. Listen, be discerning to that spirit within you. That's balance, and it's consciously awoken. And when you come, Jesus, that's when the Christ oil comes, gives you the neck back, speech box. That's awakening. Introspection. Why do you feel like that? Who's making you feel like that? Well, are you feeling balanced? Are you got confusion? Who you're around? What family members? What friends? Then you have to protect yourself before you wreck yourself, because that wrecking yourself is stressing yourself, and it's clarity. You got to go back into that 5. Gain wisdom. Gain structure. Listen. High clarity. High discernment. Are you growing? Are you stressing? Are you evolving? Are you slowing? Are you procrastinating? Are you hating? Because I want to be able to keep on moving forward and evolving and gaining that strength and that clarity. Yeah, you got to be brave. Yeah, you got to protect yourself. You got to get in that 5 sign like Daniel in the lion's den. Gain that strength, gain that wisdom, gain that clarity. Gain that understanding to be able to understand about family members and friends and where you grow up, about your roots. Because it told you in the beginning of the book, Genesis, Isis, Genius. Go to the beginning. Because it was about the mystery. The mystery is my story. History is her story. The way she acted, you acted, I reacted was 2 different actions. The way you are, I am, 2 different people. You are not my clone. I was born alone, and I will stand on my throne. Got to be fierce if you want the glory.